Hello, day 24 of 100. And I was told that I need to stream or riot. It's been a long 2 minutes there for Virani. They've all but exhausted their last few moments of patience. But we are here. We are live. All is well. And let the pepperga commence. But before I do, Virani, can you help me? I have an issue here. When I try to complete my class and I hit enter, it almost like selects the class inside, so I can't get an autocomplete. I have to literally go away, come back, and then only can I start getting, auto completion. I got a new extension, by the way. This one works better than the other one. You don't have to cache things. It just works. And it even works in a JavaScript file. I'm so happy. Check this out. I can go here, document.getElement by ID or whatever, and then I can go control space, and look at that. Every single ID. How cool is that? Isn't that cool? You have the same issue? Code snippets? No, it is HTML and CSS support. But this is annoying. Is there no way to solve this? Because either if I go class, I have to go away and come back, or I have to just type in class manually and then it works. Description. So the only downside of this is, with this current extension that I have, normally when you go class and then you open up the quotes, you would see a list of classes now. You don't see them, so you have to start typing or hold Control plus space, then it shows you a list of all of them. But the cool thing about it is it works in the JavaScript file, where the other one doesn't work in the JavaScript file. So that's kind of cool. The IntelliSense, it's this one. You'll see what I mean. So if I enable it, and then we go back to our code. So if I type class now, it shows up everything. That's cool. And then I don't think it clashes with the other one, because you see I've got something called snort, don't ask why. But if I go back and forth a few times, eventually I'll get the other one. So maybe I should keep both. But then obviously when you go to JavaScript, you're not going to see all of them here. So document dot get element by class name. Do you see? The only issue with this is you don't know what is an ID and what is a class, because it doesn't really show you here. Container, I think, and main is definitely an ID. So that's the only downside to having this. Since I write HTML elements with Emmet, really? How would I do it with Emmet? Let me see. Hey Koof, how's it going?
Hey Ronnie, I'm ready to start motion station forward. We will let you know when we think that...
He's on station 4? Not in JS, yeah, I know, but how do you use Emmet? Emmet! Dot class name? Oh, you start with Emmet like that, so dot... You have to dot class, so dot... And then, do I just hit enter? Whoa! That's cool. Class name. Are we just gonna call a class name? Class for div input. This is amazing. Whoa! I need to like figure that out. Yeah, that's nice. I'm just so worried your brain gets so used to that and then one day you don't have emmet and you're like, how do div? But I mean, it's still quick doing div, right? If I go... div, class. No, I remember on the Twitter, on the DM, I just wanted the class completion like this. Because I don't think it works. Let me see again. So if I go dot snorts, how do I complete it? Oh, and it shows you what it's gonna do. Okay, there you go, that works. It works with my snorts. Oh, but now it's not showing up. I have to like go freaking back. It's temperamental. It works sometimes. SN nothing. Now it does. I just want it to work from the get-go. All I want is a freaking extension that if I go to my JavaScript and I'm getting element by class or ID, that it allows me to see what classes or ID are on that file. That's what I'd love. That's what would make me so happy right now. Try what Koof suggested. Hold on, what did Koof say? I missed. Dot sum class. Okay. Oh, I've got this other cool extension that completes vendors for me. So if you notice here, I got Flex, and then I've got MS Flexbox, WebKit Box. Isn't that cool? It just auto does it. So check, I'm gonna remove these, and I'm gonna save. Oh, it's back! What? My dudes! Let's try what Koofs said we should try. So dot Lee dot, oh wait, that was you. Dot sum class name times 3. Are we gonna get 3 of them? UL Lee times 3. Whoa, you can even see what it's gonna do. Okay, that's way quicker than... And then you could type in each one, can't you? It's got those lines. So how do we access the lines? No! I ruined it now, didn't I? How do we go to the next edition line? How are we do it? How are we do it? I remember there was a control shift. Nope, messed it up again. Not control shift. Shift down. Nope, messed it up again. Control down. Nope. There was a thing. Control Alt, was it? There you go. Wow, we had the D's, but it's not that either. I'm waiting for one of you to give me the answer. Have you figured out how Control D works? What's Control D again? Where would you ever have that much repetition though? Highlight onely. Then press Ctrl D once. And then again. Oh, it selects all of those occurrences. Now they are B tags. That's cool. Oh, that's cool. It puts the text inside. Emmet's really cool. I just gotta figure out when I'd use that, but that's cool. Does Emmet work in JavaScript? It doesn't work in JavaScript, does it? Obviously. Work for me! Emmet! Damn it, Emmet! You can use Emmet in React, and then Emmet will react for you. Always you include all vendor-specific properties. But it didn't add Mozbox. No! It only added WebKit. Why did it not add Mozilla? My thing doesn't like Mozilla? Is that it? I am using auto prefixer. Why do you not like Mozilla? What is wrong with you? What about Moz? You like Chrome and you like Microsoft. What have you got against Moz? And I can't even edit it because there's no like options. Damn it! This was such a cool one, except that it doesn't have Moz for whatever reason. Why? Do we install an auto prefixer? What if we type in vendor prefixer? Vendor. Nope. So what do we do, guys? Because it does everything except Moz, for whatever reason. It makes me sad. Whoa, 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 whoa. What the hell is going on now? The hell is this thing doing? Chill out. What the fuck? This thing is freaking out big time. Stop! What does it do? It automatically adds prefixes. So you know, if you have display flex, it's gonna add display ms flexbox, display webkit box, etc. Vendor prefixes. But the moment I add the freaking hyphen, it freaks out. Oh my god, and it jumps to the end of the file. So annoying. I can disable that functionality if I want to. In fact, I think I'm going to. Because that is just going to be absolutely awful. Format on save. Auto prefixer grid. No idea what that does. And that's the only settings we have. So there we go. Now it won't format on save at least. But it's still gonna freaking format the moment I stick my... No, we're good, we're good. Okay, so let's try to fix this now. Always include... So, is there an order which you should do them? Like, should Moz be at the top? Should it be at the bottom? Should the last one be... How does it work? Moz box sizing. Border box. There we go. So you can stop complaining, and you're gonna stick you there. There you go. There we go, guys. Look at that. We cleaned our CSS. There's so much extra to do. But I guess you need to do it, right? It's good to have all the vendor properties, I guess. I think it's Control-Shift-P, then prefixer, auto prefix CSS. There you go. What the fuck did it just remove? It just removed my Mozbox. It has something against Mozilla, I'm telling you now. Either that or it was removed at some point. Mozbox. Why does it hate Mozbox? You know what's funny? If you type in negative Mozbox sizing, that will exclude it in a Google search, and you're not going to find it. Jeez, that's a lot of spam. Apparently there's CSS Auto. Oh look, we got some anime. We got some anime. We can make some really cool anime stuff happening right here. You need less I need more extensions. What are you talking about? I want all the extensions. Auto scroll to the end of the file. That's amazing, you know, because you always want to go to the end of the file. You can't hit, you know, like end for any reason. End is too far on your keyboard. CSS compressor, I need that. I need a minifier. I want to compress and minify. Auto align. Oh, refactor CSS. That actually could be cool though. Helps you identify reoccurring CSS class name combinations. That could be cool, right? Less extensions is better for your performance, like I have any performance issues. Auto dark mode. I don't have that many extensions. How does it work? Where does it tell you that you're using, like... No, show me how you refactor. Go, 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 go. Okay, what are you doing? You go container, What the fuck did you do? Oh, it's only telling you, it's not really doing anything. I'm trying to find the prefixer one, that's all I want. Then I'm happy. One of you needs to write me an extension, please. So that I can interact with my HTML via JavaScript. I like this thing, but it doesn't freaking support... Okay, hold on. Maybe auto prefixer we can install. Why doesn't it support Moz? That's all I want to know. Why do you hate Moz? Oh, there we go. Auto prefixer uses browser lists, so you can specify the browsers you want to target in your project with queries like greater than 5%. Okay, so I think we know how to do this now. It said something about that here. Let's see if we can get it working. Somewhere here. Auto prefixer.browsers. Type array, default last 2 versions. What is last 2 versions? i.e. greater than equal to 10. Can I add like Firefox? I need like syntax help for this. Internet Explorer. Yeah, we need to support Internet Explorer, don't we? There's actually a thing called not dead. Hold on, let me show you guys so that you can actually be a part of this. There's actually one called not dead. Maintained, not dead. I just need to figure out how to target Mozilla Firefox. How do we write it? Just in there? That's a good company. Doesn't it just do it when you run? Yeah, the problem is it doesn't add Moz to it, and when I add Moz manually, it deletes it. Check. So I'm gonna add Moz box sizing, right? Border box, right? That's correct, right? Cool, everything's cool. Save the file. Everything's fine. Run the freaking auto prefixer. Get fucked, Moz. Just like that. So, yeah. So that's why I'm looking at this thing. So I want to add Firefox to it. Come on. Apparently the easiest way to do that is... So auto prefixer.browsers is an array. Oh man, we're gonna mess this up so badly in our settings, aren't we? I wish they actually had a freaking settings. Maybe it is in our settings, and then we're like really lucky. That's the CSS stuff. So let's try and figure out how we're gonna get this to work, right? So gonna add a comma here, and we're gonna do auto prefixer dot browsers, right? Then it said it's a type array. So new array, default is last two versions greater than 5%, right? So we stick that in, last two versions greater than 5%. The last two versions greater than 5%. Is this where I get to add Firefox then? Greater than 5%, and then we go back to our list. To be honest, you don't really need many of these prefixes. I just want the Firefox one, that's all I care about, because it's removing the mods box every time. And that's an issue. Where's Firefox now? IE68, Firefox greater than 20. What's the latest Firefox? Like, what am I running now? Help. About. This is version 66. Yeah, greater than 20. Go for it. Check can I use. Can I use.com? Let's check it out. What is can I use? Flexbox. IE69 has issues. Yeah, I know if I can use it or not. Like I said, it's just a prefix. It's bitching to me. See here? Missing Mozbox sizing. Because you want to always add all the vendor prefixes, and this thing is removing the vendor prefix for whatever reason. So Firefox greater than 20. There. Okay. Now do not dare remove my Mozbox. Can we now please auto prefix the CSS? It worked! Yes! It worked! It worked! It added Mozbox! Yes! I'm so happy! I am so happy! I know you don't need it, but it's CSS best practice. So that's why I'm doing it. There's my Mozbox. I'm happy. I know I don't literally need any of these vendor prefixes and it'll just work, but best practices, it's built into my settings. So yeah, why not, right? What would be really cool is if you had browsers just take your pure CSS without polluting all these extra vendor prefixes. So you just write one CSS and the browser handles what it needs to handle. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? But older browsers don't understand that. Whatever, it's no skin off of my bones. It takes no effort from me. I write my standard CSS and this just adds the vendor prefixes as it needs to. That's why people transpile, but you do that afterwards, right? You write your CSS and then you stick it into a... How do transpilers work again? Do you just give it your CSS file, it gives you back a modified version and you use that, or what? Try CSS preprocessors? Welcome back, Koof. You mean something like Sass? Sass is a preprocessor, right? Yeah, Sass or less. What does it mean? That you generate CSS from the preprocessor's own unique syntax. I see. How does it work? Primary color? Interesting, so you use variables. That's kind of cool, actually. But you can use variables in CSS by default, can't you guys? Or is that just for animations? I'm looking at it in the background, Virani. Oh wow, yeah, so it adds all the border radius, the Moz box, the way. Okay. So you just write it once and then it does everything for you. I think we cover Sass and less and all that in free code camp, so you can use variables? Okay. But it's much better to use Sass that will then have backwards compatibility for any version. Wow. You can literally go and do nesting like this? No ways. So does it actually read that space? And therefore it knows? So what's the difference between SCSC and Sass? Or is that Sass CSS? What's the difference? Is this the language you write in Sass? So without those brackets? So can you actually write the code, like the CSS code for nav, inside the top there before the UL? So add like color there. That would be so cool. Then you never have to have multiple lines. It's all just part of one. That's so cool. I thought it does this automatically though, the vendor prefixes. There's a lot. Jeez, I'm gonna have to come back at this at some point in time. But let's continue with our journey so we can eventually come back to our code as well. I'm excited. Hope you guys are doing well, by the way. Koof? You make anything exciting? We got some chicken nuggets in the oven. Some nugs with some nice berrynaise or hollandaise sauce. And Virani. Getting quite late for you, isn't it? My like sleeping pattern is so whack right now, Jesus. It's like life of a developer, right? No, what are we having for dinner, Koof? Pretty early. What did he say? Back in the day, that would be like super late. Chili con carne, yay! Smart man. Cook once, eat for days. Yeah, where is Hello near this? New Zealand, no way! That is so cool! I love me some New Zealanders. Can you do the haka? Man, I love the natives. I really want to visit New Zealand one day. And I'm gonna walk around and just ask everyone if they can do the haka. Oh, New Zealand is way cooler than deep Siberia. Everyone can do I think that's like the same joke as like there are lions here in the streets here in Africa, South Africa. Come on, when you hear that, it's just like sends chills. Love it. It's the only reason I'll watch rugby. It's just to see, like when the All Blacks are playing, I'll watch just so I can see the haka. It's like, no offense, but I'd never go to Australia or New Zealand. Why? Because you'd melt? Hazy!
Following the family.
How's it going, man? Good to have you. Welcome to the family, the ever-growing family. Could someone like slap me a exclamation matrix in chat? Look at our numbers grow. Started from like the bottom with nothing. The family's slowly growing. Polar bears are for weaklings. The brown bears with vodka. Nice. And of course the Virani Irinachui. Can we get on with the show now? We had our fun. I'm just kidding, Virani. Please stay. Cheeky breeky, sweetamke. You have now seen two kinds of properties. Own properties. You guys definitely need to own some property. It's the way to go. And prototype properties. Own properties are defined directly on the object instance itself, and prototype properties are defined on the prototype. Here is how you add ducks own properties to the array own props, and prototype properties to the array prototype props. And this is how you get chicken wings for Koof. Let property in duck. And this was cool. I was looking at let yesterday. Far better than doing the traditional for loops, because it's like you give it a variable and then for every instance in an object, so let property in duck, and then you loop through every property in duck. That's really cool. Chicken wings. Look at Coop get so excited. We going free code camp now? We were always doing free code camp. We're on Oop. You guys love Oop. Come on. Don't you like Oops? Okay, so add all of the own properties of Beagle. I hope you guys like beagles. To the array own props. Add all of the prototype properties of dog to the array prototype props. Add your code here. Okay, so all properties of Beagle to the array own props. So for let property in is it Beagle? Let property in Beagle? If Beagle dot has own property. No, why are you printing property? Then did we say we need to push to add all the own properties of Beagle to the array own props? So own props dot push property, right? Where are you getting this from now? What did you do here? There you go. I like chicken more than pico. White meat is so young. Oh god. It's not a swear word. Itinachui just means go out. Like just go, just leave. Not a swear word. Don't let the false Russians fool you. I will teach you. The great Russians. Yes! Stop spreading lies and propaganda. It's fake news. Putin will come for you. I think we messed up somewhere here. Dog is not defined. Why is dog not defined? Where's own props? What does own props have? It has name. So the only thing that a Deagle owns, the only thing to his name is his name. Poor guy. So what are we missing here? Add all of the prototype properties of dog to the array prototype props. How do we do this now? We're gonna have to think about this one. Why am I getting stuck now? Today's your weekend? In the middle of the week? Why is dog not defined? Because it's not defined. Hey! Christopher's, what an entrance! That's amazing! Wow, why didn't I think of that? You are so amazing. We need a Discord? We have a Discord. Just do exclamation Discord. There you go. And this one actually takes you straight to the channel, right? I know, right? It's crazy. Now, let me just figure out. Captain Koof has joined us. Isn't that amazing? Welcome, Captain Koof. I think they're allowed because no one understands them. That's the reason they're allowed. So many people in chat, right? Channel's blowing up. It's a party in here. So welcome to all the people in chat. All of you that are lurking, welcome. We're getting the show on the road. Now that I have my right-hand man, Christopher, who's going to point us and show us the error of our ways. Go have some trash talk with Varani in the server. What app are you building? The app that I was building is a... I can actually show you. Let's just make some progress with the objects and I'm going to switch to this because I started late today, so I'd rather work on the app. And I know a lot of you are more excited with me working on the app than you are with me doing my studies. Oh, the pressure. Let us get to... Let's just make a bit of progress and then we'll switch to the app. We're learning now, but the app is cool. Let me see if I can pull it up quickly. Here you go. Very simple app. You add your challenge day. It's for people doing the 100 days of code challenge. You add your date. You specify your progress. Today, I learned a new Russian word. Not really, but you know what I mean. We did about 4 hours and 48 minutes. Your thoughts on the day. It was good. Link to the link title. So like YouTube stream and a link. Some video. And then all you do is you click format and it outputs in your log here. So you can just copy this output and paste it into your log. And why this is relevant is because I have a little log that I have to do every day. And it kind of gets a bit tedious having to copy the format, as you can see here. So you have to have the day, today's progress, the time spent, the thoughts, and the links to work, right? So I have to like copy this stuff and paste it. And it's not that hard, but then sometimes you might forget like the day or the second part, or you might forget something. And some people don't know how to work with the markup in Git, and it's a bit confusing for them. So I thought I'd make a tool that saves me time and hopefully helps other people along the way. And that tool basically outputs the format that you need and gets markup that you can paste. And I obviously noticed the links here are having a bit of an issue, but that's because they were static before, as in you only had one link. But yesterday I added the ability for dynamic links, so you can literally add as many links as you want. And then you can have like YouTube stream number 2 and like some other video or whatever, and you just click format and it will add them all there. And that's the part that we're working with. So yeah, I love seeing you deal with OpenJS. Yeah, because I get lost. It's your punishment for me. You can pass the title from your link. Set up a cron job that runs for 100 days and writes in snippets from other people's Twitter. Writes in snippets? You mean like tweet what other people have already tweeted? I'm sure we'll do something. This is just one tiny project I wanted to work on. Mainly because you guys remember that I figured out how to do dynamic links. Some of you remember. And I was really chuffed with this. I don't know how many of you have seen this. But so we can start here, right? In our container, under main, under user input, you notice we've got a section called links, right? Now pay very close attention. We only have two divs inside of links, right? Link title and link URL. Now watch black magic. Add more links. What? We just got new nodes, link title, with text inside it, with the input, with classes set, with the placeholder. That's madness. No, how did we do this? Well, let's go look at my hideous code, shall we? We set some variables over here, and we defined the links container as document get element by ID links. So we basically look in our index page, and we want to find the div that is called links, right? So once we found our div, we can start the hierarchy. From there, we are saying the title container needs to create a new element called div. That's how we start our first div. Then we want to create an element p, a paragraph. Then we want to add links title as the text inside the paragraph. And then we want to create an element input. As you can tell, that's the input. So there's the paragraph, there's the input. And then the magic happens later on, where we can then basically do take the links container and append the child title container to it. So we stick the title container in the links container. Then in the title container, we want to append the child the paragraph. So we stick the paragraph in the title container, we stick the heading into the paragraph, we stick the title input into the container, and finally, breathe. We give the class of title container link title. We give the class of input and input link title, and we set the type of the input to a text, and we set the placeholder to such. So basically we've completely manipulated HTML and said, hey, you're working for us now. Thank you, JavaScript and DOM manipulation. It's good. It's gonna be a good day. Right? Fun stuff. Whew. Oh yeah, and hell near this, or hello near this, or hell on earth this, however you want to pronounce him, because it's amazing, was here pretty much throughout the entire night with me. So massive thanks to you, and who else was it? X something Y? I'm trying to remember now. I remember them as Aussie. That was their Discord unit. They were also here. I was half asleep. Yeah, excuses. When you're working on this, I understood how great React is, right? React is better. Have you looked into CSS grids? Not yet. I just find them more complicated than a Flexbox. I don't know why. Flex seems to work. I think the templates are what gets to me, because you first got to define the template, then the areas, then you have to specify things. So there's more setup for a grid. But if I can get past that, then I think it's going to be better. I understand nothing from your explanation. Well then, that's great. Flexbox is better. I think it's nice for like responsive designs. What's really cool is, so when we add a lot of these things, and then we resize the container, thanks to Flexbox, we can already have it responsive without having to set any media queries, because we give it a minimum width. Isn't that cool? So that's the magic of Flexbox. I guess that's why I like it. Flexbox is so 2018. We're gonna get back to this, promise. Let's figure this out. What am I doing wrong? Help me out here. Add all of the own properties of Beagle to the array own props. We've done that. That is great. This part. Add all of the prototype. How do we access a prototype property of dog to the array prototype props? Did they didn't access a prototype here. They do prototype props. That's what I did. Dot push the property. But that's what I did. Oh, why am I pushing dog? Let's get some pepper gas. So I had it all along. It was working all along. What's 2019? Is it not ES19? Okay. Understand the constructor property. You know what's really gonna suck is that I love classes and constructors now, because for whatever reason they decided to teach us classes before they properly taught us about constructors. So now I really want to just do a freaking class, my class, constructor inside of it. But now I can't do that. I'm so used to this way. Like, I know it off by heart, and now I have to go learn the old way of doing constructors. And it's... Why did they do that? Why did they teach us ES6 before they taught us objects? Like, it's crazy, right? Note that constructor property is a reference to the constructor function that created the instance. The advantage of the constructor property is that it's possible to check for this property to find out what kind of object it is. Here's an example of how this could be used. Function join bird fraternity. Who would like to be the candidate? If candidate.constructor is bird, return true, else return false. So we figure out what the constructor is for it. If bird is the constructor. Since the constructor property can be overridden, which will be covered in the next two challenges, it's generally better to use the instance of method to check the type of an object. Write a join dog fraternity. Why are they joining a fraternity? We're going to call it like Kappa Wolf or something. That takes a candidate parameter, which you've already done for us, and using the constructor property, return true if the candidate is a dog, otherwise return false. Can we use instance of? Let's just try it anyway, right? So candidate dot instance of dog. Is dog capital? I think dog's capital. And since you guys taught me that I can return a value directory, what is up with my words today? Directly, I don't need an if statement, because if you do candidate.instance of dog, it will return a boolean of true or false, so I don't need to do an if, right? So hopefully this one-liner works, and it doesn't work. Why? Candidate.instance of is not a function. Did we call instance of incorrectly? Is it all lowercase? What? I thought it was camel case. No, it's not. There it's lowercase, but there it's camel case. Load! What is going on with MDN? Damn, that took a while. Instance of. Oh, it doesn't take a property. So it's just in one line. My bad. So that's confusing. You'd usually think it's a method, like you call it on the object. That is so confusing. So it's literally the name, instance of dog. Right? Oh, it is lowercase. What the hell? There. That is so confusing. Instance of is all lowercase. And I could have... Okay, never mind. Anyway, will this work for us? Join dog fraternity should use the constructor property. Why? Ah! So they don't want us to use the cool way of doing this. Fine. We'll do it this way then. There you go. That worked. Change the prototype to a new object. Up until now you have been adding properties to the prototype individually. Bird.prototype.numLegs is 2. This becomes tedious after more than a few properties. Bird.prototype.eat function nom nom nom. Bird.prototype describe. My name is Virani. A more efficient way is to set the prototype to a new object that already contains the properties. This way the properties are added all at once. To eat is a function. Oh nice. Describe is a function. Okay, so we call that methods, right? Why didn't they specify their methods? A function on an object is a method, right? Is this website free? It absolutely is. Hazy. You should definitely check it out. freecodecamp.org, and you can cover pretty much anything that you need. The cool guy saying Tailwind is the future. Yeah, I saw about Tailwind. There's like even extensions and stuff. I don't know about it, neither do I, don't I? It looks really interesting. Does it cater to all levels of understanding? It absolutely does. There's a basic section, so if you go to the curriculum when you sign up, you're going to start with the basics of HTML and HTML5. So it literally covers something as simple as doing a hello world. Super simple, super easy. Then you move on to the CSS, and it gets a little bit more advanced, but still relatively easy. If you want to do the JavaScript like the section that I'm on, you've got a basic section as well. The basic section was amazing. I didn't struggle at all, and I hardly come, from a background of actual coding experience, and I managed to find it fine. There are some cases where you might get tripped up, especially the ES6. Like if you're doing ES6, I'd recommend you do it at the end, because you'll pull your hair out. It teaches you things that you don't even know about. Like it was teaching me about objects, and they hadn't even covered object. We are doing objects now. We're doing objects now. Like I've done regex, I've done debugging, I've done basic data structures, I've done basic algorithms. Only now we're learning about OOP. So yeah, subsections is like, yeah. Refer to my notes, absolutely, yes. And check out Virani's notes, they're awesome. Can you skip to segments? Yeah, you can skip. You don't have to do them in any order. I've just decided that I want to do them all. So it gives you it gives you the basics on everything, and even though you think you might not use it, it's really good to just Have all that info, because you never know when you might need it. Like, for example, back to my project. Let's say I just did JavaScript, right? I most likely would have struggled when it came to some parts of the HTML. Even though I knew HTML like way back in the day when, you know, you had MySpace and you had to customize your MySpace page. It just helps to know how those things work, because you're going to interact with them. And usually if you're going to build web apps and you're by yourself, you're going to do front and back end. But if you're working in a team, then, you know, you can solely, you know, specialize in back end and you'll be fine. So it helps to have that basic understanding, just to style things, especially with CSS. You want to know how to style things and make them work, because if you don't, how are you going to display the content? You can't just write code. Well, I guess you could, depending on what it's going to be. If it's going to be a mathematical, you know, equation or something, you just need a single output, then you don't need a lot of things. But if you're going to build an app and you need to interact with buttons, you got to know how to assign a function to a button when it's clicked, and things like that. And you're going to need to know DOM manipulation, which is done in JavaScript. So you'll need to know how HTML elements work, how the tree structure works, like how a body is, you know, a child of the HTML tag and stuff, and it like goes deeper. So those are things that you'll need to understand if you want to actually build, you know, web apps. And definitely check out Virani's link. Real great notes on everything that he's covered. It's helped me like explain things far better. The notes are awesome. But yeah, back to having our mind turn to mush. Add the property numberlegs and the two methods eat and describe to the prototype of dog by setting the prototype to a new object. Okay. So you want us to have eat. It needs to be a new function. And what do you want us to like say? Add the two methods. How do dogs eat, guys? Schnarf, Worf, Biff. Perfect. I think that's what dogs sound like when they eat, by the way. And then we need to add another method. Describe. Function. Why aren't they calling it methods though? These are methods, right? Oh, they did say methods at the end. They didn't refer to methods earlier. The inconsistency. Console.log. What is this? Describe. I am the vodka. I am the vodka bearer. My name is Dimitri. It's not really. This dot name. There. Is that good? I think that's good. Sounds like some German angry words. I think Christopher would know best with some German angry words. Did that work now? Are we good? Dog.prototype should have the property numLegs. You wanted numLegs? Where the hell do you want? Oh, add the property numLegs. Okay, I get you. So you want me to have this dot numLegs. How many legs do you want? Oh, we're not defining them here. Sorry, this is completely different. 3 legs. The 3-legged doggy. Surprisingly, we did that. I expected there to be a lot more. So we defined our method. So every time we call dog.eat, so if we go dog.eat right now... No! It's not what I meant to do. Capital, first of all. So we go dog.eat. Hold on, we need to create a new. Let Virani equal to new dog. Virani. There we go. Can I now do Virani dot eat? Is that gonna work? There you go! Virani! Why you snarf beefing? Virani. Dot. Describe yourself, please, Virani. Amazing. Why do I eat a dog? You don't eat a dog. You are you are the dog. Virani, eat. It's amazing, right? You are. You're a good boy, though. Very good. This dog is so advanced. Somehow found its way into our chat. Oh, 2020 is an amazing year, hey? We're living in the future already. Who needs ES19? ES9? Anyway, let's move on. That was amazing. Remember to set the constructor property when changing the prototype. There is one crucial side effect of manually setting the prototype to a new object. It erased the constructor property. Oh, no! The code in the previous challenge would print the following for duck. Console.log duck.constructor. Oops. It's undefined. To fix this, whenever a prototype is manually set to a new object, remember to define the constructor property. Bird.prototype constructor bird. Oh, you need to do that? So if you don't do that, it loses... What's so bad if we lose a constructor? Does that mean in the future we can't set new properties to whatever created it? Define the constructor property on the dog prototype. Right, so constructor dog. I heard literally every German word sounds angry for non-Germans. Because if you love someone, you need to shout it out in German. Ich liebe dich! Because, you know, life is what? Apparently really scary and terrifying at the same time. Something like that. Ma tut mir leid, aber ich liebe Bratwurst. Ja, die große Bratwurst. Understand where an object prototype comes from. Just like people inherit genes from their parents, and Virani inherits vodka from Putin, an object inherits its prototype directly from the constructor function that created it. For example, here the bird constructor creates the duck object. Function bird takes a name, this.name is name, let duck equal to new bird, Trump. Duck inherits its prototype from the bird. Sorry, that was Donald. You can show this relationship with the is prototype of method. Bird the prototype is prototype of. Interesting. Because we also had instance of, now we have is prototype of. Use is prototype of to check the prototype of Beagle. Okay, so we're gonna check dog prototype is prototype of Beagle. There we go. Understand the prototype chain. All objects in JavaScript, with a few exceptions, have a prototype. Also, an object's prototype itself is an object. Okay, so let's stop there for a moment. Document is an object, right? In the browser level, document does stuff like get element by ID, document.innerHTML, stuff like that. You guys know that, right? Document is an object. Then document dot what was the other one? I think so .inner HTML is a method, right? But then what is the prototype of document? Like, makes you think. I guess you could always check in the browser, just like we could do like in our console. Can we do like type of document? Do we get a response? So it's a function, right? So type of document dot is that a thing? Undefined. Document.write. Isn't .write a method? I think it is. Undefined. Interesting. Document.prototype is an object. What? The document is a function and it has methods attached to it. Prototype, document prototype. Whoa, check. Child element count. Body, create element, create attribute. Oh, these are all the things. Create text node. No ways. Look at all of its children. Get element by ID, get element by class name, get elements by name. That's really amazing. It's better to read something that explains stuff to you like you're 10 years old. Yeah, I agree. When you're trying to get into something, it's so much better to come from a place of like simplicity and then like figure things out further for yourself than it is to like be thrown in the deep and like not know what's going on. Because at the end of the day, sure, you're going to figure it out. It's just going to be way more complicated and you're going to like pull out more of your hair than you would the other way, you know what I mean? Yeah, he showed me his notes and I was like, this is amazing. Because if you don't understand something, you don't understand something. And why, you know, if you don't get it in the complex form, how else are you going to understand it? If it's simplified for you, you're going to get it. Like there's no other way, right? And if it's too simple, then you can look at more advanced things. It should be ramped up. The difficulty should be ramped up. They shouldn't put you like at the deep end. And then you just need to figure it out. You should start at the most basic level of your understanding. Everyone's different. And that's the worst thing when it comes to people with experience. Like I absolutely despise. So my background is I came from the IT sector for 5 years, right? So I was in IT for 5 years. I became a network engineer. I handled networks. I had hundreds of machines connected to several servers. I was on SLA standby 24/7. So anything that happens with those networks, I have to check it out. I had to make sure that WASAS was, you know, correctly set up. So the updates were set up, the server updates were running. If something broke internally, like Java needed to be updated, that specifically worked because they use DFE and Mercedes point of sale systems because they were car dealerships. So like those specific things worked on internals for like specific versions of IE, specific versions of JavaScript, only worked on Windows XP. So I kind of knew the entire system inside and out. And you know what's worse is when I initially took over the site, the notes, like you couldn't understand them. They were like no notes, and there was no connection to the link. So you didn't know what routers were connected. You didn't know what switches were connected. You didn't know, you know, what networks are on. They had a bonded line solution. So that's when you take several ADSL lines and you convert them into a single one. So it's called a bonded line so that you can get the speeds of the multiple lines in one. None of that was documented. And I had to like literally figure everything out. And they were just like, well, you know, we know how this works, figure it out. That doesn't help though. It's like that sense of, it's almost like egotistical if you say it in that sense. It's like, you know what's going on, therefore you don't need to document it for anyone else. Because if you know how it works, someone else should, right? Wrong. And that's why I firmly believe that you always need to take note of that. There are going to be people that are going to have a lesser understanding than you are, and that's perfectly fine, you know. I feel that some people get to a certain level and then they just stop, you know, giving a fuck. They're like, well, it's going to take me too much time to explain, so I'm just not going to bother. And what happens one day when that person moves on, you know? So I think we all have that responsibility to ensure that we document things. Because while it may not benefit us, just imagine what it would be like taking over a site, taking over a project, and there's no documentation, or you don't understand it. And that's why I'm always a firm believer, like, keep things simple. And recently I've discovered, so obviously I'm new to coding, but not new to the tech world. And the number one thing that I discovered is that your functions and your code should be well documented without having to use comments and notes and stuff, right? So that's what I've been trying to work on. In my code, I've tried to keep things as descriptive as possible. So one thing I did was change all my classes to have button in them if they were a button. Previously they were format button. I think you remember last night, hello near this. So now they button format, button copy, button add link. So it makes it a bit easier to know what those things do. What else did I do that I was happy with? Oh yeah, the naming convention. So this was awful last night. We fixed this up a little bit. So to know what the parent we're working with in this bit of project, I named it a title container. So by reading it without there being any like notes or anything, like comments, you should know it's a container for the title, right? Title paragraph, it's the paragraph for the title. Title heading and title input. So hopefully that makes it a bit more sense than if I had to literally go A, B, C, D, because I've literally seen code like this because it's so much easier to write. Or like your variables are like short forms. Like I wanted to do elm last night, so someone said I could do L or elm, but like what the hell is L or elm? And then you have to actually go and figure out what that is and what it's linked to. So that's, oh god, what? Okay, never mind. That was something else open, but you know what I mean. So that makes it a whole lot easier. But being the only person who knows how stuff works ensures your employment. I guess it's like twofold, right? Get that bus factor higher. Oh, what was hilarious last night? So you guys both remember Christopher and Varani because you checked out my Twitter. But obviously you can't. So HTML objects, when you do get elements by class name in JavaScript, it returns an array-like object, but it's not an array, which is really confusing. So I couldn't call something like for each on it. Then I realized, luckily, you can call the array prototype on it, pass it as a function, and then you can call for each on it. And then I had to do some crazy thing where then I go for each call user URL title, which is all of the user URL titles. And here I've used X and I short forms. Obviously we know that I is a, it's the index. X I'm going to rename probably still. I was just testing around to see if this works, but I had to nest them now because I need both the URL title and the URL. But that's a problem that we can solve a little bit later. But that's just an example of things that you have to just figure out. Gerald Cotton, CEO, was the only one who knew the passwords for a 190 million Bitcoin investment portfolio. He died, and it's so safe that the company folded. 190 million wiped out. Yeah, this is why I would have like you have those things, almost like a, I don't say like a black box. You have those sites that you can register up to, and if you don't log in X amount of days, it sends out an email with whatever it is. Hold my beer. You're gonna crack into their coof? Yeah, let's get that 190 mil, right? Oh, brute force that password. Cool. So, oh man, there's a lot of definitions here now. So what do we need to do here? So they all have prototypes. All objects have a prototype. with a few exceptions. Type of bird.prototype is an object, because a prototype is an object. A prototype can have its own prototype. In this case, the prototype of bird.prototype is object.prototype. Object.prototype is prototype of bird.prototype returns true. Man, they're really getting complex here, huh? How is this useful? You may recall the hasOwnProperty method from a previous challenge. HasOwnProperty name, true. The hasOwnProperty method is defined in object.prototype, which can be accessed by bird.prototype, which can then be accessed by duck. A lot of inheritance going on here. This is an example of the prototype chain. In this prototype chain, bird is the supertype, and they haven't taught us supertype yet, but I remember this. If you want to call something, you have to do supertype and then the object. They'll probably teach us this later. In this prototype chain, bird is the supertype for duck, while duck is the subtype. Object is a supertype for both bird and duck. Object is a supertype for all objects in JavaScript. So everything pretty much is an object. That's why arrays are an object. That's why we can go type of, and we get an object, because an array is an object. Crazy stuff, huh? Modify the code to show the correct prototype chain. Oh man. I said in Discord to do a loop like this, I would not use 2 for each loops. I would do one for each on a tile like it is now, but before that I would make a new array. Yeah, I was thinking of creating an array. We'll just have to play around with that. We will never use inner text. We use value. It's not reliable. That and setting inner text. You can actually pass on HTML, which is not reliable. So use .value to get the value of something. Don't use inner text. But I'm still a fan of for_of. The cool guys on Stack Overflow suggest for_of for HTML collection. We can play around with it later. I'm sure that's what you guys are waiting for, right? I know I am. I'm pretty excited. Like, I want to fold this right now and go working, but then the problem is the moment I get carried away with projects, when do I actually finish my studies? So just a few more. This is going to be tough now. Fix the code below so it evaluates to true. What is prototype of dog.prototype? Wait, do you want me to put beagle? What? Dog. Is prototype of dog... Is it dog? Wait, isn't it object dot prototype dot is prototype of? There you go. Jeez. Inheritance. So you don't have to repeat yourself, guys. There's a principle in programming called don't repeat yourself. Dry. The reason repeated code is a problem is because any change requires fixing code in multiple places. This usually means more work for programmers and more room for errors. Notice in the example below that the describe method is shared by bird and dog. Right, so they do the exact same thing. If they do the exact same thing. My name is what? Yep, they're both identical. So we can eliminate that. The describe method is repeated in 2 places. The code can be edited to follow the dry principle by creating a supertype or parent called animal. So let bird and dog become inherent animal. Well, children of animal. So animal.prototype, constructor, animal, describe, function. My name is plus this.name. So then, since animal includes the describe method, you can remove it from bird and dog. Bird.prototype, yeah, so we removed it completely. That's pretty cool. The eat method is repeated in both cat and bear. And we know bears love vodka, so edit the code in the spirit of dry by removing the eat method to the animal soup type. So you basically want me to have them starve. That's horrible. Sorry bear, you're not allowed to eat. Nor are you, cat. I think that should be it, right? Whoops. There you are. Cool. So how far are we now? My eyes! No! It's amazing. I wonder why it keeps doing that. It keeps forgetting that it's on dark mode. Maybe that's something we could fix. Let's fix free code camp. Where are we? No, not functional programming. So this is our last one, and then we're gonna move on to our project, guys. Did we do at least an hour for today? We did! Hour and a half. I won't feel bad. Even though there was a lot of trash talk going on. Inherit behaviors from a supertype. In the previous challenge you created a supertype called animal that defined behaviors shared by all animals. This and the next challenge will cover how to reuse animal methods. Okay, so this and the next challenge we're going to reuse. So you know what, I'm going to end things off here because I think this is a perfect time to end things, considering it's going to be a two-part lesson. So we can leave that for tomorrow. And then we can switch to our project now. Testostoners, how's it going? Wow, everyone's here. This is great. Cool. So, yeah. I'm going to end the stream here, then I'm going to restart the stream. Just so that it segments nicely for those of you, you know, who end up watching the stream on YouTube for whatever reason, archives and not. So this is going to be fun. The whole gang is here. That means I can get like a plethora of ideas to fix my code. This is amazing. We're going to make it incredible. I think we've got back-end people, we've got front-end people. This is amazing. Really great to have you all here. So yeah, feel free to stick around. The live stream is going to go back live like in the next minute now. So I will see you guys now. Bye for now.